if I don't smell coffee brewing? I should sleep in more often.
Ah, you earned it.
We have breakfast almost served here.
Working on it.
There we go. Top of the morning.
Good morning.
I want to introduce Brian McCrossin. There, did I get it right?
Close enough. We'll
Close
take
enough, we'll take that. Brian has been here for 2 days now, and we're going to stay one more day, and we're actually helping fortify the station.
Correct. Yep.
And you're hail from New Hampshire.
New Hampshire, the colonies, yes.
There you go. A lot of history there.
Oh, yes. Yep.
Love your license plate on your vehicle. It's
live free or die.
live free or die. Motto of my fort. Right, there we go. Anyway, man, what a job you've done. You got breakfast almost ready, coffee going.
Yep. All in the prep work.
Perfect. Shall we have a cup?
Absolutely, yes.
Kind of liking this, Brian.
On-site cook.
Not only an avid historian, but he can cook too. Just the kind of gifts we need. Here, I think you've given me the lion's share, sir. And given you did all the cooking. There you go.
Thank you.
That'll be adequate for me.
Thanks.
All right. So we see how you did. Well,
What do you think?
yeah,
Pretty good?
you did it. All right, that's good. Is there free labor and a cook?
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
And welcome back, I'd say.
Anytime. It's been a lot of fun, man. Well, Brian, that was a grand breakfast, and I'm looking at this grand knife of yours as well. So, you know, your group does, or you and your friends do Rev War, but you were saying your tendencies lean more towards the...
My heart is definitely more towards the longhunter era, for sure.
You come to the right place.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I live just outside of Boston, so it's all basically Rev War reenactors, nothing for long hunters. So.
So it was basically a longhunter knife, but you tell me there's a wee bit of a story here.
There is, yes, yep. The horn that's made out of was from a hunt that my grandfather and I were on. Many, many hunts with him growing up as a young child, and never saw him shoot a deer in all those years. Always missed, always had an excuse. It was always this close. All he saw was hair in the scope every time.
Right.
So one of the final hunts we had together, we had the rifle between us sitting in a two-man blind, and we saw the buck coming in, and I told him previous to the hunt, I said, if we see something, I said, you're going to take the shot pop. And so the deer was coming in and giving us a good broadside, and I didn't want to look away, so I was just giving him some taps to say, you know, get the gun ready, get the gun ready. And he wasn't going for it. And I saw that the peak opportunity we're missing it, and the broadside was about to disappear. So without moving or looking, I ended up trying to give him a tap on the top, and I ended up hitting him in the groin area on accident.
Yeah.
So that threw him off his game. So I ended up having to pick up the rifle and shoot it for him. So
A quick shot.
Yeah.
And you got the deer.
I did. Yep. So that's that horn.
And that's the antler right there.
Yep.
Well, that's a classic story. Anyway, we've been here 2 days now, and we're just about finished the lower story of the blockhouse. Mm-hmm. It's amazing because if I was doing this by myself, I'd be a solid 4 days to get to where we are, and we should finish it before you leave today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we will. Yep.
And I always do a wee bit of history about something, and it's, because we're just chatting and having a good time here, stepping back. But I thought I'd tell a wee bit of history about mortar, and maybe we'll start over at what's going to be the next project is the beehive oven that we're going to build.
Right.
And it's kind of a primitive mortar we're going to use on that. So, again, fine breakfast. You can come anytime.
No, thank you.
We're looking at the next project, Brian. Pity you got to go back to New Hampshire. So this is going to be our beehive oven. Mm-hmm. And we're going to do this traditionally. So the question is what we're doing on the blockhouse. Is it authentic or isn't it? And it's sort of a little bit of yes and a little bit of no. So we know that in the colonies they used mortar, was used extensively from the late 1600s right into the 1800s. Places like Williamsburg and Philadelphia and Boston, and up here would be Quebec and Montreal, and they built fortifications out of stone using mortar. So,
Right.
But we are trying to portray fortified homestead in the mid 1700s. So on the frontier, they wouldn't have had mortar. They would have used what we're going to use here, which is cob, which is 3 parts sand, 1 part clay, water, and chopped up grass and stuff. And like I say, if you're sticking around, we're going to try to do this traditionally. So I know some people have built them, they make a sand mold, but I can't find no documentation. So I'm going to use some of my canoe building skills and make really thin strips of wood and make a wooden basket,
Okay.
which once the cob dries on it, it gets burnt out
Right.
after. So,
Yeah.
but a lot of work. I got to get some more stone. This will get set in a bed of mortar, and we'll add stone, and it'll pretty much be the size of this table. And yeah, we'll go from there. But in researching mortar, apparently the first known goes back to 6500 BC. And they would use it to basically, not a whole lot different than the cob that was still being used thousands of years later for things like this. So it was just clay and water. And then 3000, the Egyptians start taking gypsum, 3000 BC, and they use it for building pyramids, for example. When we get somewhere between 1000 and 2000 BC, we see the first lime used. And that would be by the Greeks, I believe. And then, if my dates are right, we get into approximately 200 BC, and the Romans come up with using volcanic ash in it, which makes, and I can't remember the name, I'd get it wrong if I tried, but it makes a product that will actually harden underwater. So that's a game changer. Things like pylons for bridges,
Right.
viaducts, water systems. And anyway, there's my wee bit of history about mortar. Hope I haven't bored you.
Not at all.
Shall we go mix some and get this job done?
Yeah, let's check it out.
Great, let's do it.